In my opinion, you don't have to have the most up-to-date, most current, modern release of a film to have demo-worthy content. And this is something I've talked about before on my channel. And so here today, we're gonna do a second volume of a video I did previously, where I'm gonna talk to you guys about 5 more demo-worthy DVDs that you can find in 2026 to experience in your home theater. So let's get right into the video. Now, to start this list off, we're gonna look at James and the Giant Peach from Disney on the special edition DVD. Now, the reason I picked this is even though it does have a Blu-ray release that came out several years after this DVD, and I believe it does have a streaming version on Disney Plus that may be in 1080p or maybe in 4K, I'll have to check on that. The reason I'm picking this DVD is because this DVD in a lot of circles is actually the definitive way to watch this film modernly on any format. And that's because the Blu-ray release especially, and I know there have been some issues with the streaming release as well, although those might have been fixed at this point. But the more modern 1080p versions have had a lot of issues in the video side, where this DVD version is a pretty good representation of the original film negative, and that's why I'm putting it on this list. Now, in terms of sound on this release, it does carry both a DTS and a Dolby Digital 5.1 audio track, but I have heard online from reading different posts about it, the Blu-ray release does have lossless audio versus the lossy audio on this DVD, so perhaps the audio is better on the Blu-ray. But at least for me, for this list to be on a demo-worthy DVD, I would definitely pick this up for the picture quality, and it's gonna look, in my opinion, and apparently according to a lot of people online, this is gonna look a lot better than the Blu-ray or even the streaming version, because this just remains much more theatrically accurate to the original film stock. So to start this list off, we're gonna talk about this, James and the Giant Peach on the special edition DVD. Next up on the list is going to be the first of 2 Arnold Schwarzenegger films that I want to talk about in this video, and that is the original Running Man from 1987 on this special edition DVD. Now, I do know that there are multiple Blu-ray releases of this film and a more modern 4K release. And from looking online, because I've never watched any of these in person, I've seen a lot of discourse over different versions having some positive kind of aspects to them and some negative aspects to them. And for me, this DVD release, and I think what a lot of people have kind of made the consensus online, is outside of 1 or 2 features from other more modern releases that you would almost have to kind of put together to make a definitive release, this one here has probably the most theatrically accurate video for the most part, that retains film grain that isn't all blurry and overly processed, or the colors aren't blown out. And it has a pretty decent audio track in the remixed 5.1, or technically I believe it's 6.1 DTS audio, and a 5.1 Dolby Digital track on here. For me, I think this film on this release here is actually one of the better versions you can get, and probably a better budget version versus some of the more modern releases that you would find nowadays on Blu-ray or 4K. Not to say those are completely out of the question, as bad copies to have, just because I've never seen them. But I do know from reading forums online, this is probably a very good budget pickup that you can get online here today. And as a side note, the slipcover, if you get it with the slipcover, is actually pretty cool. It's like a holographic lenticular cover on here. So that's also kind of cool as well. But for me, picture quality, pretty solid on this release. And the audio is pretty good too, even though it is in a remixed 5.1 audio setup. So number 2 on this list is The Running Man from 1987 on this special edition DVD. Now, the next DVD we're going to look at on this list is an old school snapper case DVD, and that is going to be The Living Sea, presented in IMAX. Now, this line of IMAX DVDs are a little bit different than some of the more modern releases that you see for IMAX films. This is from a time when they put these in a 4:3 aspect ratio, and they weren't in standardized widescreen formats like modern DVDs that you would see. And even though this isn't a 4:3 aspect ratio, the color and just the overall image quality of this release is still extremely detailed and demo worthy, in my opinion, to be on this list to watch in your home theater even here in 2026. Now on the audio side of things, this DVD does come with both a DTS and a Dolby Digital 5.1 audio track, which are engaging enough and good enough to listen to. They're nothing special, they're nothing out of the ordinary, there's no bombastic audio really with it. But the audio track is solid. This also comes with music made for the movie, for the film by Sting from the Police, you know. And so that's kind of interesting too, to hear some of his music playing in the background. But really, for me, the reason you would want to own this release is just for the picture quality. It's not as high def as some more modern IMAX releases that I have here, which I'll probably talk about in future content. But for what this is, especially for the time period this was filmed and then put on this DVD, I really do think this is still demo worthy to have in your home theater, especially when you can find these for pretty much dirt cheap nowadays. You can probably find these for like less than $5 in most places. So I would definitely pick this up. So this entry on the list is The Living Sea, presented in IMAX format on this DVD. Now moving on to the next pick on this list of demo quality DVDs is the 2002 deluxe edition of the original Men in Black. Now this is a film that has had multiple releases over the years, like a lot of catalog films. But for me, this version is probably one of the best presentations you're going to get for this film. I think, at least in terms of DVD, the only version that maybe would surpass this would be the Superbit DVD, which I've been on the lookout for quite a while. I just haven't found it anywhere. I know I can get it online, but I just haven't pulled the trigger on it. But for me, this version here is probably a solid number 2 right under that Superbit edition. Now this is pretty solid in both picture and audio quality. It's not probably as good as the Superbit DVD in terms of video, just because the encoding's a little bit different than what the Superbit would have been. But it's still serviceable enough, and I've used it as B-roll footage in some of my other videos here on the channel. And it definitely looks high def quality when you're viewing the content. But also the audio is really good on this as well. Now this doesn't have the DTS audio that the Superbit release has. This has Dolby Digital 5.1, but it is still a solid audio track that encapsulates like the 90s audio. You know, where you get a lot of dynamics in the actual audio mix. Maybe not to the extent of that DTS Superbit release, but at least for this release here and versus some of the other editions I have owned in the past, this is still a noteworthy copy to have. So this next pick on this list would be the Deluxe Edition Men in Black DVD set. Now to finish up this list of 5 more demo quality DVDs, I'm going to talk about something I've talked about previously on my channel, and that is the original first edition DVD release from Live Entertainment for Terminator 2. Now, this one actually is not the correct cover for it. This is actually a specialized slipcover of, I believe, the Extreme Edition DVD. I talked about this in previous content. I basically picked this up just because of the cover, and then I got rid of the other version and just kept the slipcover because I liked it so much. And this is for a different 2015 version of the Blu-ray that's on here. But the disc we're going to talk about, and I'll throw the actual cover in here of the original release, is this one right here, which I've talked about previously on my channel. And the reason I think this is demo worthy is really not at all for the picture side of things. Why you would want to pick this up and why I think it's definitely demo worthy to have in your home theater is for the audio tracks, because not only does it have a 2.0 audio track, which I don't believe is available on any other release on DVD or Blu-ray to my knowledge, and someone can correct me about that, you know, if there is a release out there that I can't think of. But it has a 2.0 track that is most likely sourced from the 35mm releases that use Dolby Stereo. But at least in America, it's the only release that has a somewhat downscaled release version of the CDS Cinema Digital Sound audio track that was made exclusively for theaters for this film. And the original Live Entertainment DVD is the only one that has that was pressed in America. I do believe that this CDS audio track is probably the best audio track you can get for that version of the film. It is the most bombastic, it is the most dynamic in terms of the audio that I have ever heard. If you can find this first edition Live Entertainment DVD it's definitely worth picking up to run in your home theater just for the audio tracks alone, especially the 5.1 Dolby mix, which is the CDS audio. Now, the last thing I do want to mention about this specific DVD is there's two versions you can find. One is in an old school snapper case, and one is in just a regular, kind of like jewel case or, regular DVD case like this. But it's kind of like a steel metal plate kind of design with Arnold Schwarzenegger on the bike that's kind of used for a lot of the promotional material. That's the one you want to look for. When you see the extreme editions and ultimate editions and more modern releases, those do not have these original audio. They all have remixed audio. So you want to find one of those two specific DVD versions. But for me, to wrap this video up and to wrap this list up, the live entertainment DVD version is the best sounding audio track you can probably get in terms of a more modern audio release. Definitely for me, number one on this list and definitely worth picking up is the live entertainment CDS audio track version of Terminator 2. And now with that, we are here at the end of the video. Definitely leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this list here today. Definitely let me know what you think are some other demo-worthy DVDs that I should look into to maybe do content on in the future. Also, check out the video I will have linked at the end of this video of my first list of 5 demo-worthy DVDs. Definitely check that out as well. And I will continue doing videos like this in the future, both for DVD and probably for Blu-ray as well, here in the near future. So definitely consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the bell notification, all that good YouTuber stuff that we like to push on you guys. Thank you guys so very much. I will see you in the next video right here on Secondhand Home Theater. Have a good one. I'll see you then.